So on the bridge, are these people?
They could be, but not necessarily. They could be sculpture, they could be mini spires, they could be balustrade. But I wanted it to open the possibility that they were people. I was very interested in how many different colours you could get into that. If that had been airbrushed, it would have been a completely even texture. But because it's done with a brush and you can see all the different things, for me that adds a lot of narrative and a lot of, well, interest to the picture.
I'm sorry, I heard a kind of running sound and I'm worried that was a bird and a cat. Can you hold that 1 second? Sorry. No, it's alright. I think she was just...
You have a special dispensation to rescue creatures that are trapped by the cat in the studio.
Well, I think they can hear her too, because they're all going off now. Anyway,
okay.
Sorry. Carry on.
Well, that was really what I was saying, that there is a huge benefit in having something totally mechanically smooth, like with an airbrush. But there is another added layer of interest by having it done with a brush and having all the different colours showing distinctly. When you look at it from a distance, it looks much more even, but up close you can see dozens of different colours.
Shall I move out?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, thank you again for coming today. The painting, we took the painting down to be scanned earlier this afternoon. Howard King, Quentin at Howard King's did it, and we put the film of that process, which is quite lengthy, but for me it's fascinating because the camera scans over a period of about half an hour. We didn't film the whole half hour, by the way, just a few seconds at the beginning of that. But the process is fascinating, and it's the consequences of that is I have a super small scan, 8 megabytes. We'll put that up on the site on Facebook when we're done. Will that go up on Facebook? 8 megabytes?
Well, it will convert it, but...
Okay, so we'll put that up, and that'll be pretty much the finished painting. I'm still going to sign it and tweak a couple of bits, but it will be the finished painting. And it was interesting for us to go through, look at the whole process from finishing the painting, taking it to the scanner and getting it done. The final thing I've had to do, now the painting is pretty much done, is do layout so that Doug and Glenn Gottlieb are doing a lot of the graphic design on this, and I'm going to be sending this to them with suggestions on the layout. It's not the final layout because I'll show you actually. It's not the final layout because the title hasn't been confirmed yet, and I'm going to take that in, talk to Martin about it and double check the title. But once we've got the title confirmed, I'll send Doug and Glenn the layout, and hopefully the next thing we'll all see is an album cover. By the way, in the process of doing this, there are lots of sketches. Some, like the cat and the tree, that is very loose, but it gives me an idea about what I'm looking for. And lots of others are about layout or shapes of rocks. I won't show them all now. We'll scan them all and put them up. So I've got a stool because I'm going to be working right down here in this bottom corner. And what I'm doing there is signing my name. Which
Oh, this is an important bit.
well, as long as I remember.
I'll try and get a good angle.
Me too. And if I spell it wrong,
Should I go closer? Let me see.
sorry.
I'm wondering if I should go a little bit closer.
Oh, that
No?
means I have to get it right first go.
Okay. I'll do a compromise distance.
I'm looking at this and wondering if this is going to be dark enough. Doesn't look it, does it?
It looks very tiny. I'm going to have to get very close to be able to see anything.
Well, it doesn't need to be very big, but I'm going to mix up some cobalt blue. The one I just made that first mark on was cobalt on several other blues to make it lighter.
A couple of people are saying that they're surprised to see you signing.
There's a what?
They're surprised to see you signing the painting. They haven't seen that before.
Well,
Is that because you have everything photographed and scanned before you sign?
yes. I often forget, but we always sign. I always sign the pictures if ever we sell them, but it's a lot of them aren't signed. That's true, but then a lot are. More than half are signed, and it's not a philosophy not to sign them. It's just, paying attention and remembering to.
Cengiz asked, who are the people on the bridge?
Uh-huh. Wow.
Show the bridge. Where's the bridge?
I put people on a bridge before, and I have been asked to make sure they are representing people. In this case, they could be, or equally, they could be sculptures. As I was saying when we started, they aren't necessarily people, but I like the thought that they could be. Okay. Well, what can I say? That about expresses it. Does it? I have about 20 minutes, half an hour, and I can just wipe it out and start again.
Well, technically that is live painting, so... Is it more annoying having me over your shoulder and talking to you while you're doing it?
No, that was kind of like where we were going to be. If I don't like the look of this, I can always start again.
I think that nest is chicks, and I think they're making a racket because they're hungry. I think that's why it's so noisy.
I can't hear them.
Really?
No.
Oh dear.
You can hear the birds?
Yes, Dad. People in America can hear the birds.
What I can say, well, there are some very few, but some advantages not being able to hear too brilliantly anymore.
Eric asks, what's your favourite album cover that you've done?
It's usually the last one I've done. Relay counts very highly amongst the ones I've done from the past. Relay Tales, Pathways, amongst my favourite early Yes ones. But at some point during their history, some point during the day even, any of them could be my favourite. So that it's not a permanent thing.
Everyone can hear the birds. Everyone's saying, I can hear the birds. I can hear the birds.
That's everyone except
People
me.
in Arizona are hearing the birds. That's what someone just commented. And someone said house sparrow chicks, and I think that's what it is, isn't it? Because one of them got in the other day and it was a sparrow, wasn't it?
Yes, I think that's right.
So well spotted, whoever that was. Yeah, Florida can hear.
Well, I'm impressed. What happens is that there's gaps between where the roof and the walls come, and they make their nest just outside, but they do manage to come inside occasionally. Right.
Is this someone else? Is this dawn, sunrise, or sunset?
I'm thinking it's dawn. Yeah, it's sunset would have a lot more activity. It has the kind of stillness of dawn before people are moving around much.
What do you mean sunset has more activity?
People are awake. You know, places are much more crowded at sunset. People watch the sunset in far larger numbers than they watch the dawn, although the dawn can be as or more spectacular.
Just trying to pin you down. Do you mean like something about the painting is still, whereas it would be something about the painting would be more active?
Something about the stillness of dawn is what I was trying for.
Can you be any more specific? How do you paint stillness?
I don't. I just imagine it and hope that the painting reflects my imagination. I guess one of the things I wanted to talk about today was the creative process, and part of that is how do you come up with ideas, but an equally important and critical part is how do you capture those ideas and nail them down. How to take that idea which you might be very happy with and put it on the painting. And that's a very fugitive process. And when I'm talking to art students, which occasionally I do, and I emphasize the importance of learning your craft, learning your techniques, it's not because technique is paramountly important. It's nothing more tragic than having a brilliant idea and not having the wherewithal to express it. Well, it's not just that, you know, the process of expressing it, the process of practicing the craft also enhances your ability to imagine it. I did at an early one of these talks reference a conversation I had with some tutors at an art school. I just spent quite a long time talking to students about how I learnt to draw and how putting in the time and everything was very important, and taking your mind out of the equation was very important. And the tutors were very annoyed with me, asking did I think art was all about technique. And I was able to, well, my first response was to say no, but technique, the craft is critically important. You can't have great art without great craftsmanship. But the point about practicing, this is a quote from a Japanese martial art, but it's utterly relevant to art, is that you train your hand so in its turn the hand trains the mind. And if you put in many hours, many thousands of hours training the hand, you are training the mind. You are really exercising the brain in a very critically important way. Freya's telling me to get on with the painting. Well, I could paint the cat out.
You said you'd be doing some touch-ups. What more would you want to do on this if you were to do anything else?
I'm very close to leaving it now. I think for me the next stage is to have it around and look at it and walk around and ignore it and look at it more. Almost every painting that's been long enough in my studio gets tweaked and nudged, but for now it's done. It's photographed. The scan will be with the guys in New York by Monday or Tuesday. Well, by Monday, I should think. And we will be ready to start proofing the album cover straight away. But that's not necessarily the end of the life of the painting. It is very likely to get a closer look. And for the moment, at least, I don't have a title for the painting. I've talked just now about what the title is for the album, and I imagine that's fixed, but it's not fixed in my mind, so I have to get that verified. But the title of the painting, that's going to take a while. I'm going to have to live with it, figure that out.
So, Paul asked, will this be a poster? This picture?
Definitely. Well, I say definitely. Very, very, very likely. It's going to go on tour with the band next as a print, which the band will sign, I'm told, and certainly I will sign, but also as a tour poster for next year. I think it's very likely, and it's very likely it'll be a poster on my website.
I think we're getting name suggestions. I think if that's what they are, okay, so we've got Blue Sunset, Crystal Dawn, created on Facebook. I think was a title suggestion.
No, thank you very much, but no.
Why not? Why not? You don't take suggestions for titles?
I'm actually very grateful for suggestions for titles, but my problem is it deflects how I think. And that doesn't mean to say people can't come up with way better titles than me. People invariably do, but I'm going to be searching in that geography that I was in when I was painting it for the title. It's, for me, I mean, I've talked about this so many times, it's boring, but I thought that The Gates of Delirium was a way better title for the album, Relaya, and a way better title for the painting. And now I'm pretty much always calling it The Gates of Delirium, because I just think that's a far more evocative title than Relaya.
And what about the logo? When will that be done?
The logo was done. For this, the logo was done because it's from the Royal Affair tour. And the logo that was done for the Royal Affair tour had the golden lions sitting on top of the Yes logo.
Can we have a look at it? Just for reference?
Yep.
Can I show that?
I'll bring it over.
We had another question. Can people buy signed posters of this on the website, or will that be something that's available?
There will be things. I'm not quite sure yet exactly what we'll do, but yes, the answer is yes.
Should I come over there?
Bye.
What was that?
That was...
Blow
Yeah,
eye.
I think you better, because I'm going to have to switch off with other things.
Okay. Let's go over here. So this is the logo that's going to go on the painting?
Unless I hear otherwise, the answer is yes, that's the logo.
In this colourway?
We might change the colourway, but certainly the lion with the Yes logo is how it's envisaged at this point.
People want a studio tour. Is it in good enough nick today?
Certainly not. Do it next week.
We'll do it next week. For now, I'm just gonna pan up to the ceiling while we go back.
You're looking for the birds.
Oh, so clever. So clever. Right.
Next week, we're preparing and making a prototype of the robot that we're going to build for the Japanese live session on the 30th. And you've posted the times and dates for that, have you, Fred?
Yep, so that's on your page and my company's page as well. But we can do it intermittently to remind people.
Yes. We're making relatively crude models at the moment, and I think we'll show you the direction it's going next week. We had a great meeting today talking about making them as a set, possibly as a small 3D jigsaw, and possibly as a bigger limited edition, and it looks wonderfully possible. We have the contacts.
Will you ever do anything in Japan, like a Shinto shrine, for example? I think that's what the question was, I guess architecturally. Was that the question? Sorry if I got that question wrong.
I put one in one of the prints. There is a print where I painted in a Shinto shrine.
Oh, what was that?
It was in the corner of a large version of Close to the Edge.
Stephen says he'd like to see the Iron Horse in 3D. Maybe that could be one of the series that we do.
Well, anything's possible. At the moment, we're going to start with something that I can't give you a direct reference because it's in part Freya and in part me, so it's not going to look exactly like either of us. Hopefully, it looked like better than either of us.
Should we show them so far with just the legs, or should we wait till it's got more?
But I haven't got any of you in it yet.
No, I know, that's true. That's true. Not yet?
It's up to you.
Well, we'll ask another question. So we had the question, do you ever paint subterranean scenes?
Scenes? Yes, of course. There are two, both for Rick's Journey to the Centre of the Earth. There's the very blue one that was for Return, and the green one for Journey.
I'm going to show you what we've been doing so far as well. So we're doing a combination of Dad's robots and my insects, and this is what we've got so far. Should I bring it in?
Shall I hold it over here?
But I think, doesn't it look like a dog? I think that's the underside of a dog.
There'll be more later. I had a very salutary experience this week because Freya bought me a Bob Ross mug, which was a lot of fun. But we watched some of his videos because so many people had asked questions about it, and I thought, my God, I ought to have a look. And what surprised me is because I was here messing around with oil paints, and I was advised not to use those 50-year-old paints without testing them. So currently they're being tested to see if they actually dry out, because I was told it's quite possible that they won't dry out in any reasonable amount of time, i.e. like a year. So I'm going to wait and see how long that one takes to dry and then test all the colours. In the meantime, I was watching Bob Ross and I thought, you know, I could learn about the medium watching him. It's not without value. And it was interesting to realise that. I could imagine I could watch a lot of very famous artists who have a great reputation in the art world and be very disappointed about how little they had to say about the medium. But this was interesting. Anyway.
Are you telling me to ask a question?
Yeah.
So that's your question signal?
Yes.
As opposed to my painting signal?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, it's getting tense. It's getting to the battle for question or painting. Will any retouching happen after the scan?
To the painting?
Will you paint and talk at the same time, please?
I got to watch the boss here. I can't say no. I'd be surprised, but it's perfectly possible. It happens. It does happen.
What kind of things get touched up after, if it does happen? Paint and talk, paint and talk.
For example, on the painting I did for Heaven and Earth, we added a whole chunk of the painting so that it became square. I don't very often do that. I normally look for an area within it. But in that case, I painted a separate painting and joined it up just for the album cover. So that was quite an interesting experiment. I might with this, but I doubt it. I'm pretty happy with how it is at the moment.
Cool. So a few people have asked, it might have been the same person asking several times, why did you not do Going for the One?
Well, the painting that was Flights of Icarus was actually my suggestion for the album cover. And I flew out to Montreux with that. And when I got to the studio, John had an entirely different idea about what he wanted. And he showed me and he said, that's what I want for the album cover. And I thought, well, yeah, if that's what you want. But I'm not going to do that. So
Was it a naked man in between buildings?
No, that came along later. I think that was his nemesis, really. So I went out with that painting, which for me, to this day, I still think would have made the perfect cover for Going for the One, but was... and the rest of the guys never saw it, which was stupid on my part. I should have made sure they saw it.
Somebody asked me what my name means in Japanese, so I'm going to try and answer. Freya wa Scandinavia no kamisama desu. Kanojo wa Scandinavia no Venus gurai. Sensou to... She's the god of love and war in Scandinavian Norse mythology. And my mum picked the name because she used to like reading that. What was that book? It was all the Norse mythologies, but it was Adventures of the Heroes of Asgard or something like that, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I thought I was named after Freya Stark, the explorer.
No,
it was the goddess. The spelling should have been a clue, really.
Freya, I imagine Freya Stark was named after the goddess too.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know, while I still thought I was named after her, I looked her up quite a lot and she said some really great things that really kind of stuck. I can never quote people properly, but one of the things she said was something like, unhappiness is not living according to your own principles. And I thought that was a really good thing to think about.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm missing everybody's questions for Dad. Got lost in my own there, sorry about that. Someone has asked, sorry I missed your name, will you ever release 2 birds as a limited edition print?
2?
2 birds.
From the Anderson Bruford Wakeman Howe album? Single colour? I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Don't look at me, I don't know. It's your brain.
Well, what can I say? It's in deep trouble there. Sorry, I'm not quite sure which painting that is.
2 birds.
2 birds. Did I ever call a painting 2 birds?
I don't know.
I don't either. I wouldn't like to say I didn't in case I did.
Oh yeah, apparently it was Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe.
Ah, the single cover. Interesting thought. Now that has been reworked, and we've exhibited it once, I think. Yeah, we might exhibit it again at Trading Boundaries. At the moment, there's no plans to do it as a print. Maybe one day, but not at the moment.
It's really strange, like, for me, because I'm asking the questions, and while I'm asking them and you're answering, I'm looking for more questions. So I literally, like, if you stop talking, I'm not following what you're saying. So we can't have a conversation.
All right.
And I feel, no, I'm just thinking it would be nice if there's a way we can kind of blend all the thoughts together. I'm going to be very good at multitasking after this.
Oh, good. Well, we are gradually getting equipped to do this because we can do. I can do this talk and slideshow on logos and actually show the process of designing one. Next week, when we've got the green screen, that should arrive next week, and we should be able to do that properly. And the same goes for the architecture. We can do that from next week onwards too. So it's going to be fun. And then I have to start the next painting.
I mean, what it is also potentially going to be is us figuring out technology in front of you. So it's really frustrating because we put all the videos up, by the way. All of the videos are up on YouTube sequentially. If you look for Dad's Roger Dean YouTube channel. And what I'm kind of concerned about is if you start with one, the sound and the internet are so bad, and I'm really worried people are just going to give up after one. But yeah, after 3 it gets much, much better. But I'm a little bit concerned about the green screen in that we don't have long to practice and get good at it before.
Well, let's make sure we do.
Yeah. Yes, let's do that. Can you show us the painting that you did for Going for the One at some point?
Yeah, it's on my website probably, and it was called Flights. We did a print called Flights. So if you look at under the prints on the website for Flights, that was it.
Okay.
Rick did suggest to me at one point that we should talk about doing a re-release of Going for the One with the intended painting on the cover, and I think that would be fun. I'd be very much up for that, or even a reworking of that intended painting. Yeah, lots of possibilities around that.
So can you go slightly to the left? Thank you.
Okay.
Where did you get your idea for the Osibisa covers? Well, people are liking the idea of doing that release.
Of the Osibisa covers?
No, of the Yes stuff with your Going for the One.
Oh right, good. Why did I get the idea of one of the things, as I said, I was going to talk about the creative process. Ideas often come fully formed. You know, they don't get chiseled out of rock. They come ready formed, and the trick is to convert them into a viable entity, a viable image, if you like. So, yeah, I thought, I can't say what the thought process was because it just arrived and I did it. The trick for me was to make the flying elephants look vaguely credible. I didn't want them to look like Dumbo. I had a lot of fun with that album because it was the first time I managed to integrate the painting with a logo, with the graphics, and feel that they really work together.
Oh, you didn't get the Jeff Jones portrait out to show.
I didn't?
The Jeff Jones portrait of you. You didn't.
Ah, I will. I could put it up on my computer screen.
Now? Or next time?
I could do it now.
This is going so far from a live painting.
Well,
So, if you're done, you're done. If you're done, you're done.
it's very nearly is done.
Should we do some close-ups so people can see? And we're going to put the JPEG up as well, aren't we?
Right. Are you going to go in close?
Yeah.
What I liked about the cat is I liked the way it was leaning to see if it could get a better view, and it kind of reminded me of this rock form. So I wanted it to sort of parallel that. And as if something is going on that could only be seen if you leant over a little bit.
So should we have a look at that Jeff Jones picture then?
Will you stay on that for 2 seconds?
Okay. So what shall I... Shall I ask you another question while you're over there?
You can ask me a question, yeah, go.
What's going to be the back cover?
There's a bit of this will either the full painting or the edge will wrap around. That's a discussion we haven't yet had yet.
Close up on the people. So what did you say about the people again?
Sorry?
What did you say about the people on this bridge?
Oh, they weren't necessarily people.
But they might be.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that picture of Jeff Jones.
Oh, so there are stars on the left. Sorry, it's just the sheen of the light. Have you got it?
It's on the screen.
Oh, I remember that. Hang on. There we go. Oh, I nose from. Thanks, Dad. I don't know if you can see that very well. There we go. That's lovely. You look very sprite-ish.
Okay. Are you coming back? Are you there?
No, I'm coming back. Will wants to know if you can add a shooting star. You doing requests?
Yeah, but no. John used to say that. He said, could we have some birds here?
And what did you say?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
So what did you take me over here for? Just to get away from that drawing?
No, I think the position I'm in now, you guys are watching me kind of nervously tweak it a little bit, but pretty much it's done, and I'm amazingly grateful that you had the patience to watch this process go from those little teeny squiggles to what is now a finished painting. So Freya can boss me about and tell me to paint, but pretty much it's done, and I'm very grateful that you were there for the journey. But if you have any more questions, let's go for it, because
we've got 5 more minutes. And what I was going to say to everyone as well is one of the things that I was thinking is that you might have noticed that Dad is, when he's talking, he's not painting so much. So what I would quite like to do is carry on doing the live videos of Dad painting or doing talks about architectural logos or sketching, whatever it is. And then whatever questions I can't get to in the live, Dad and I switch the camera off, and then we sit down, go through the questions and ask everybody's questions in a separate kind of sit down interview, conversation kind of thing. And that way I can get through everybody's, because I can never get through everybody's. I get through maybe 1/20th of all of the questions that you guys ask, and I know that, so I'm sorry if I don't get to yours, but that might be a good compromise way of getting through all the questions, Dad having a chat, and we doing the sort of art lives as well.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. So we've got a bit of time for some last questions about this, or whatever you guys like, really.
Jeff Jones, by the way, was a stunningly good painter. He was brilliant. And we came across Jeff when we did the book on the studio, which was Jeff Jones, Michael Kaluta, Bernie Wrightson and Barry Windsor-Smith. So that was a lot of fun working back then on that project.
Somebody asked actually if you do republish the studio. That was one of the questions.
I don't know, but we are definitely making moves to reform the publishing company. Certainly the Dragon's Dream side of the publishing effort. And we probably look at any books that the authors would be interested in seeing republished. It's the rights would have reverted in most cases by now, but it's an interesting prospect.
We had another question. Bottom right corner, is that water? What is it?
Bottom right? Water?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that hadn't occurred to me. No, I was thinking rocks or possibly snow, and as you say water, it suddenly looks to me like it could be like a waterfall, but I hadn't thought of that. So there you go.
Maybe. Someone asked, oh no, I missed the question. I thought it was an interesting question. They were asking something like the Asia robot in one variation of the image has lips and in another version of the image doesn't. What's that about?
Oh, I tried lots of versions of that. And I can't really remember which way, or even if the band had an input into that. I simply can't remember, but you're right. There were several versions of the face.
A lot of people are guessing snow, bottom right snow.
Yeah, snow was kind of like my way of thinking.
Is there any way anyone can buy any of your furniture? Now, I want to say something about this because this is particularly relevant to me today, because today I did a class on making coral reefs. And I really want to do your furniture as if you build your living room up like a coral reef, and they can all fit together in all different bright colours, and they're all sort of squashy and puffy. And
Ray's talking about her furniture.
But we can ride off the back of your name to do my furniture,
Behave.
and it will look very similar.
Well, the answer is yes. I've been approached by a company to manufacture the sea urchin chair. And frankly, I think it's a good idea, so I will. And we've had talks with another company about doing a simpler wooden chair. And yeah, I put all the effort into designing them, so it would be fun to see them out there.
Can you buy your books on the website?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Simple answer.
You have to take longer over them because I have to wait for new ones to come up.
Yeah, well, the books are available on the website. Pretty much the only place they're available. I know that they do come up on eBay and places like that, and sometimes they're quite expensive, but they're quite okay price on the website. Is
the animation for Steve Hackett's... hang on, did I misunderstand that? Steve Hackett's animation, is that viewable anywhere?
Premonitions. Oh gosh, that's going to be a very sensitive subject. It's available as a part of the credits on the DVD on the Premonitions album, but without the box set, I don't know how else you could buy it. We should ask Steve and put it up on the website.
We have another question.
It's very brief. I mean, it's about 2 or 3 seconds only. But as Steve and I have talked about, it would be fun to have a bigger story wrapped around that. So it's a work in progress.
Okay. So it's almost time. Should we do some final plugs and explain what we're going to be doing next for the live videos? So even though this is finished, we're not finishing the live videos. They're going to carry on, but we're moving on to something different from now.
Yeah. Early next week, I've got to finish some prints. So I'll be working on those probably on Monday and on Wednesday. If the green screen is set up and working properly by Friday, we'll do either the talk on logos or the architecture.
Anyone want to put in a vote?
Well, yeah, we might even let that drift to the week after, because there's going to be a lot of work on the model for the 30th, so that might take up a lot of time.
Yep. So again, we've posted that on the Facebook page. Dad and I are going to do a collaboration 3D model for my company, who are called Courtyard Hiro, HIROO, and that's going to be on the 30th of May at 12 p.m. English time, 8 p.m. Japanese time, which is going to be awkward for a lot of people, but we're going to share it over to Dad's page.
Yeah. It'll be on, YouTube and the website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel like there's something I forget to say at these things, and then we press finish, and then I'm like, but we didn't mention thingamabob.
We'll keep you posted where we're going with the architecture. We'll keep you posted where we're going with the robots, and I'll do the prints next week. And I don't know how soon the new painting will get started. I'll find that out over the weekend and Monday.
And you can catch up with all of these on the YouTube channel. It's called Roger Dean. And forgive us for 1 and 2. They get better. If you followed us all the way through, you'll know. Sort of roughly.
Okay. It's a terrific honour that you guys came and watched, and I'm thrilled to bits that whole process has been
Yes, we're
watched.
doing Monday, by the way. Someone just asked Monday, question mark. Yes, we're doing Monday.
Yeah, we're doing Monday.
Sorry, I interrupted you saying.
So, as I say, I'm thrilled that you came. It is a terrific honour. I don't underestimate how much patience you must have had to be here. I've enjoyed your company. Thank you very much.
And I want to say as well, so I shared the collaboration live session we're going to do from my company's Facebook page, and I think a huge amount of you pressed join, and that did not go unnoticed by me. And that's that. So I want to say thank you so much for doing that as well. I think that earned me some serious brownie points. But yeah, it's always really lovely and fun doing this with you guys. So Monday 7 p.m.
Yeah, and hopefully
English time.
We'll have managed to extract all the questions and gone through them. That's not a tiny task, so it might take more than just the weekend to do that, but I'm looking forward to doing it.
Yeah. Is that it?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.